The book of Judges is a very unique book in the Bible. You see, Joshua had passed away, and all the elders that were with Joshua as they conquered the land and saw all the miracles of God, they're also gone. And now a new generation has arose that doesn't remember what God had done for them. And they've forgotten His commandments. And so we see the people of Israel slipping into idolatry and involved in all sorts of sin. What a dreadful tale it is. And yet God, in His mercy and in His love and His fact that He keeps His covenant with the children of Abraham, continues to be in their midst. And He raises up judges, judges who are holy, judges who follow Him, judges who you might not always expect to be judges. In fact, the book of Judges has 12 judges, one from each tribe of Israel. And some of them are quite unlikely. Who would have picked Samson, for example, or Gideon? But maybe the most interesting one to me is Deborah. Because you see, in that day, it wasn't normal for a woman to be a judge. It says that she was a married woman. So even with those things, it's unlikely that she would have the time to be a full-time judge of Israel. Judges in Israel met in the gates. You'll often see in the Bible that they gathered at the gates. That's where they settled cases. That's where they dealt with the problems of the people. But Deborah's not in the gates. We don't find her there. Instead, we find her under a palm tree, Deborah's palm tree. And here the people come to see her and to ask her to inquire of God and to help them solve their problems. In Jewish thinking, there's a type of Bible interpretation called drash. And with drash, you ask questions of what's not in the text. You try to figure things out and you come up with various scenarios. So my drash about Deborah is, why was she not in the gate? Why was she in the field under a palm tree? Was it perhaps because the men in the gate didn't want a woman in their midst? That's certainly a possibility, but it doesn't really ring true to me because Barak comes to her and is readily willing to follow her direction. Maybe it's because she wanted to be under the radar of the enemy. You see, they probably had spies in the gates and were listening to what the Israelite men were saying. So maybe by being out in the field, she sort of went under the radar and they didn't realize the extent of involvement she had. Well, we don't really know why she was under the palm tree, but what we do know is that God spoke to Deborah, and Deborah was told to tell Barak to get 10,000 men of Israel to fight against the evil oppressor, Jabin and Sisera. They had been oppressing the children of Israel for 20 years, cruelty. And Deborah is the one that God called to deliver Israel in that time. Now, Barak, when he came to her, he said, I'll only go if you go with me, Deborah. Now, isn't that fascinating? Here's a man that doesn't want to go into battle without her. Does that mean that he is a coward? Oh, no, I don't believe so. What it means is that he respected Deborah and the fact that she was a prophetess who heard from God. And he, like Moses beforehand, was saying something like, God, if you don't go with us, we don't want to go. So Deborah says to Barak, she says, yes, I will go with you, but you need to know that a woman will get the glory. Now, the reader of the text might think that she was saying that Deborah, would get the glory, but no. Read to the end of the story and you'll find out that a woman named Yael was used by God to kill the evil Sisera. And so the battle ended and Yael has gone down in history as a woman who felled a very powerful man. The book of Judges tells the story of what happens to a people when they turn away from God. Today we live in a world that is also in many ways turned away from God. And many of us as Christians may feel as powerless or as simple, perhaps as Gideon or Deborah felt. So I just want to challenge you today that even if the world gets even more evil, that God can raise up someone in our midst to hear from Him and to guide us through the turbulent times we're in. Maybe it's you, maybe it's me. Let's listen to the voice of God and allow Him to work through us in this generation that He has chosen for us. Blessings from Israel.